She voiced her remarks during an interview with Ireland's public broadcaster Radio Telefís Éireann while visiting Ireland.
A Russian court has dismissed Wall Street Journal reporter Gershkovich's latest appeal regarding his detention at a Moscow prison as he awaits trial on espionage charges that he and the United States claim are fabricated. Swedish customs authorities made one of the country's largest ever cocaine seizures last week when they confiscated around 1.4 tons of the drug at a port near Stockholm, according to an official statement to Swedish television on Tuesday.
If it is as significant as we believe, it is one of the biggest seizures ever made.
Disgraced former Representative George Santos has suspended his long-shot bid to represent New York's 1st congressional district in a potential comeback attempt.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee and hot.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
Ow. Tell me what the ow. Ow. You got to faith and all that. That's ow. Ow. Oh. Oh, here's the email. As soon as the show starts, they start emailing me. God, leave me alone. Leave me alone. I get off my train. Hey, what's the weather like today? I know it's sunny. Good morning, folks. As the loud band finally shuts up. What is it? It's Thursday. It's Thursday, April 25th, 2024. It's 40 degrees, sunny, but 40 degrees here. That is not late April weather. I'm sorry. I'm not happy with it. Now, what happened just in the back green room there, in the green room, one of the green guys just disappeared. Now he's going to come back in on his phone and just pop in on the screen. But I stopped him. See, this is what happens with these phone things. And did contact StreamYard about that. Turns out it's a convenience thing for a host who has to use his phone to host the program, to not have to fumble through putting themselves on the screen, because it's a little difficult, I guess, on a phone. I've never tried it, but that's their answer. So it's intentional that if an administrator or co-host uses a phone, they just pop in like that. Anyway, you don't care about that stuff, but I just thought you should know. It's kind of a little annoying little thing for me, but I don't think they're going to change it. Sometimes you can't get your way. Anyway, interesting stuff going on in the world today. We're going to have a conversation about resilience with Simon T. Bailey, who's been on the program before. He's an author, self-improvement guy. Let's put it that way. Last time he was on the program, he had a book out about, respecting women. And I forget what the actual title of the book was, but the gist of it was, giving respect and proper recognition of women and treating them right. And the result of that was I got a lot of email from women saying what a evolved and cool guy I was. because they thought, I guess he made me look good. That's the point I'm getting at. So hopefully he'll make me look good today. We're not going to talk about women, unfortunately, because I like talking about women. But we're going to talk about resilience. Resilience is a superpower. Superpower. Anyway, here's a little thing for you. And there's a lot going on in the world of politics right now, which I know some of you people just hate. But I don't think I lose subscribers over politics the way I did over a certain comedy contest, which I will talk about because I'm a little upset with my guys. Not GD because he don't know anything. But Ron and Steven in particular, who did not inform me that that particular comedy contest will be coming to Madison Square Garden in August. I had to find that out on my show last night from a comedian who's down in Florida who's going to Madison Square Garden in August to be part of that comedy contest show. That I don't know why I'm scared to say the name now. You got me scared. I'm walking on broken glass here. Anyway, so yesterday after the show, I'm coming back to the politics thing. The Supreme Court has been weighing this idea of what do you do with homeless people, because there are oddly enough in Oregon, one of the most liberal states in the country, there is a law in effect that says homeless people are breaking the law by being homeless. Now Ron's going to do the pop-in, I think, in a minute. They're breaking the law by being homeless, and they should be fined. So if you lose your home, the only thing you can do is leave town. If you become homeless, you have to leave town, because if not, they can jail you or fine you. And listen, you're not helping the problem at all by finding people and not giving and taking away any resource. You're going to starve them to death. Homelessness is a problem. I don't know how that's going to work out. But as you know, or might not know, because depending on how long you've listened to me ramble on, went through a long string of having homeless people in my house. And every time it ended up bad. We would take people in off the street, give them a room, help them find a job, give them transportation to a job, do everything we can to help them get back up on their feet. And every time they ended up robbing us, stealing from us. Robbing is like armed robberies now. They didn't do that. But they stole money, they stole things, and it was not a good thing. And so, every time we had to have them evicted. One kid, my wife ended up getting a settlement in court from, because he owed her like $2,000. And at court, I got to the lawyer and all this stuff. We went to court, and the guy knew how to play the system really well. And he was being really rude, and just saying, "I'm not leaving. The laws are on my side here. I'm a resident, and I'm not leaving. And there's nothing you could do." And I lost my temper, and I was ready to fight the kid in court. And the lawyer had to pull me aside and said, "I'm blowing this whole thing. Stop." It was an ugly scene. That was not the last homeless person that we had a problem with, by the way. But yesterday, as the show ended, I heard a knock on my door. I was doing the publishing here, and I thought it was just like somebody soliciting, these guys come around, you need a new driveway, you need a new roof, you need a new whatever, trying to sell you stuff. And there was a kid at the door, and I went out there, and I said, "How can I help you?" And then I recognized him. It was this kid who had been evicted from the house. Finally got him out like 10 years ago, and he had tears in his eyes. He said, "I just want to say I'm sorry. I don't have a lot of money. I'm putting my life back together again. I will work for Elizabeth to take care of the debt I owe her. Work it off. I just feel terrible about what happened. I was an immature young person. I understand what I did was wrong." It touched my heart, man, in a big way. And I'm not like Mr. Softy. Well, I am Mr. Softy when it comes to ice cream and my erections, but I mean, generally, with my attitude towards people, I'm not Mr. Softy. But the kid, he was sincere. and he was tearing up. And I shook his hand, kind of gave him a punch in the chest, and said, "Way to fucking go! I'm glad to see that you've gotten to this point in your life where you're taking accountability for your mistakes." And he said, "Well, I'll be happy to work for her now." My wife is home, but I'm not getting her because I'm not sure how she's going to react to this guy, because she's a little bitter and hurt and all this stuff, because she had a really good heart and tried to help people, and everybody was just robbing her, stealing from her. Keep saying robbing. So he said he would help her out, and I said, "Well, take my phone number, call my phone right now, text my phone number so I'll have it, and then we can stay in touch, and I'll talk to her and see if she wants you to come back and do work around the house to pay off your debt." He goes out to his truck to get his phone, and I'm looking for my wife to ask her how she wants to handle this. I can't find her. She's in the yard doing something. It's a very big yard, so I couldn't find my wife. So I came back, and I'm trying to I don't want to go get my phone or try to find a pen and write stuff down. So I said, take my number. He puts my number in his phone, and then he leaves, and he's going to call me. He's going to text me, and then I'm going to talk to her and see how you want to handle it. And apparently, because he was crying when he was putting the number in, he was in tears and stuff. He didn't put in the right number, and he never texted me. So I would never see him again. The bottom line, I screwed up. But I do think he was sincere in making the effort to make restitution. So you know what? I guess that's a feel-good story. Is it not a feel-good story that this kid has taken accountability of his own life and wants to make some changes? We'll never hear from him again. Because what's going to happen? I'm not going to call him back, and he's just going to assume we don't want to be involved with him anymore. And even though there's a sheriff, there's a lien on if he gets a paycheck or something like that. He's working construction right now, which is off the books. So he's not going to get into that. So anyway, Evil Ian already bringing his evil to the morning program, says he can't even type his own phone number. No, type my phone number into his phone. It's not like, and yes, you know what? You can't trust anybody, but I think he was sincere. I think it was just a mistake. Anyway, speaking of people you can't trust, let's start with this one. You can't really trust that guy ever. Well, except he's got a nice blue background for some reason today. And then this guy, we could trust him, except he's a spot stealer, and you got to watch out for that. Oh, Ron Kane is a spot stealer.
Oh, so you yelled at me, and it was Ron this time. Jeez.
Well, I knew one of you guys would Judas me, stab me in the back, Brutus me, whatever, Brutus and Judas. That's you guys.
Erotic.
Oh, by the way,
one
of the guys from Yellowstone, before GD points at his cup and all that kind of stuff, one of the guys from Yellowstone, the show that's on Paramount, ended up dead after he was a Native American. His name is Brings Plenty.
His name is He No Longer Live.
His name is Brings Plenty. Brings Plenty.
Kicking bucket.
He was at a concert, and his hair got caught in something, and a woman went and cut off his hair to get him loose from whatever he was caught in. And apparently, in the Native American tradition that he's in, whatever, that is like a spiritual, like, terrible thing to do to somebody. And he attacked the woman, and there was a domestic thing. He ran away from the scene and was found like 20 feet from his car dead. So, but there's not like, and they're saying it's not a homicide, no foul play, whatever. I just thought the name like Brings Plenty. I thought, well, that's unusual that Native Americans kind of name people in the English language with adjectives like that. Like,
kicking bucket. How did he die? How?
How did you? Stephen bringing the racial.
I'm sorry.
You upstaged my racism. I'm about to get a little bit racist here, and I want to give you guys names like Indian, or Native American names. So like GD would be tries patience. Stephen would be sits constantly. I don't really have one for Ron yet. What do we have for Ron? Imitates RFK.
Holding guy.
Yeah. So
He who fists.
He who fists.
Yes. Would we like to point at cups? Oh, you got nothing. We got nothing for cups.
Sure. Mind Dog. Oh, good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. Are you worried about the future? Call the Mind Dog TV psychic hotline to learn about your tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. Unless you're east of the international date line, then it's Saturday. MindDogTV.com. Enjoy the suffering.
I didn't think about that. Tomorrow we have a psychic. We do. June Edward is back. June Edward is back for her third appearance, and she's going to be. She booked 2 more. So
I did not know that.
I have a history of making psychics look bad.
Well, no, that's you can challenge her all you want. I do too. I mean, there was a time when I was like on a Harry Houdini kick. I was just going and debunking them and embarrassing them on purpose. I'm not that way anymore. I like to stay open-minded.
I like to stay open-minded. I just think it's a little fucked up to, I guess, take advantage of people who are missing their loved ones. To sell things. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. I'm not saying they're bad people by any means, so don't take it that way. I've always found them to be a little.
There's 2 kinds of. If you're going to go down the road that none of them are real, and that's a valid, that's
where I sit. That's where I sit.
It's a legitimate position to take. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know what the truth is, but if you go down, there were 2 categories of that: people who maliciously know that they are bullshitting and complete phonies, or people who actually believe they are psychic and believe in their own psychic ability and think what they do is real. And Ron is getting a psychic message right now. Hold on, we're channeling RFK.
I'm having a vision that she may show up tomorrow.
Oh no, she'll show up. She's eager to show up.
Okay, but here's the thing though: if she messages for any reason, said sorry, something last minute came up, she's lying.
Why? Being a psychic, nothing last.
She's a psychic. There should be no last minute things that pop up.
No, she's not a psychic who tells the future. That's a different.
Does she talk to dead people?
I forget what that is.
She just
clairvoyant is seeing things, is seeing people, but seeing the future. There's a whole other thing about that, and
I see the future of you giving me $20 for this.
$20. Ron is still paying for 1960s psychics or palm readers
or hand jobs.
Robert jobs, yeah, because that is not the going rate. I think it's more like $300 or something.
It sounds to me like he's.
I mean, your palm read.
Sounds to me like he's getting his future told by crack whores in an alley.
Right. You guys have any opinion on this not my homeless story, but the idea about the states want to or cities want to make it illegal for people to be homeless, and they want to fine them, put them in jail, or fine them. How does that make any sense to anybody? Because
all you're going to do is you're going to breed more criminals and more drug addicts and everything else. You're going to overpopulate the jails even more.
Wait. Stop right there. How is it going to, because I'm considering they're probably drug addicts or whatever already. So how does it make more? I mean, it doesn't change.
Not necessarily more, but what I mean is like let's say they're homeless, right? And they haven't done anything illegal necessarily to try to get food or to stay warm or whatever. But then now they're locked up with, a bunch of people who can be like, hey, I can tell you how to get these things, So then they get out of jail and they're like, well, shit. James told me that I should start breaking into people's houses so I can make a few bucks every day doing that. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's a valid point. You can't get an education in being a better criminal or a more hardened criminal when they lock you up. The other part of it is that you're going to pay for them anyway. You're going to give them housing and 3 meals a day. Why not give them cable and cable TV probably, right? I don't know about what goes on in jail television wise, but I think
I just feel like
you're not saving any money. You're not. I don't get what it's doing now. I don't know what the solution is. Do we just give everybody houses?
I've talked about this with friends, and even when I was in politics, when I was in the Libertarian Party running for office, if we're gonna put money into it, regardless, right? Why not make it a positive force where we can put these guys to work, maybe cleaning for the city, and then while they're working and cleaning for the city, they could be getting, let's say they need an education, whether it be a GED or whatever.
You know who came up with that idea?
Yeah, who?
Bill Clinton. I don't know if he came up with the idea on his own, but he proposed workfare instead of welfare.
I love that idea so much more.
It got shot down. It never made. You know what? And the people who were, yeah, of course, it was a good idea. I think.
Yeah.
Well, first you got to find out too. I mean, are they mentally capable of doing stuff? Do they have like something going on with them to why they are in that situation? Yeah,
Well,
you're going to have
your
your
voice of wisdom here. Yes, you're right.
You're going to have your regular people, but then there's the other subsect of people that are either like vets that are like carrying some type of like trauma with them, or just someone that's just.
I just want to focus on the phrase regular people. If we have any regular people, please email me. I want to hear from the regular people.
Well, I think when it comes to like people that may not be able to work, right? Though I mean, those people especially need help if they can't work, right? Now, that again, the idea of can't work is going to be subjective depending on who you are, because like some
and
people
what kind of work? I mean,
right? Because I'm like, for example, I can't go get a job in a factory right now because I can't walk. But does that mean I can't go out and find a different job? Of course I can.
Yeah.
So it'd be just like anyone else.
It depends on the factory, also.
Yeah, and
I've always
the
been
position
turned down
within
by
a
it.
factory. You could work in an administrative function in a factory. And,
you would think, but they've always had a reason not to. Usually
that's just your personality.
Yeah, I know I'm a dick.
Yeah,
I was thinking, but okay, we'll say dick.
That's not one of the words that governors frowns upon, by the way. I think we can use that one.
Oh, cool. Hi, Govs.
Dick or cunt?
Both.
Oh, okay. So there's, as far as making people or gainfully employed who are homeless, if they are of sound mind, sure, we can find them just about. We can find them.
Regular people with sound mind, email me.
But if they're not of sound mind, then obviously we put them in politics. I mean, that's so. And we even have a party that is full of crazy people that needs more crazy people. I'm not going to mention it by name, but
that's just crazy. It's crazy.
I do have to. Oh, I'm sorry, GD. Finish.
Oh, you go ahead. No, you
go ahead.
I was just going to say that I do love it when I go to a store and there is an autistic person that either has to help me or just like cash me out, because they are so fantastic, because they just want to do the job. They don't care about the other bullshit.
Exactly.
So it's like perfect for customer service.
Dude, it really
what
is.
do you need? Let's do it.
Ron is the guidance counselor, career specialist for people with autism.com. Peoplewithautism.com. Go there, and Ron Kane will be there to guide you to your next career move.
Best customer service.
Regular-minded people don't watch or listen to the show. I don't think he said regular-minded people. I think he said regular people.
Yeah, and I'm a regular person. God damn it!
By regular,
I'm
I think he means.
Too.
I think he means takes a good shit every morning. That's what I think he means by regular people.
Or great, or a great one.
A great one. I don't think I've ever taken a great one yet. I mean, nobody has ever.
Great shit.
Well, no, I've never nobody's ever. I never had a reporter come and say, "Well, that was a great one. We gotta get that on."
Well,
camera.
they're not just going to come. You have to call them. I mean, that's how reporters work. Reporters don't.
My publicist has never been impressed enough with my shit to actually.
They're a publicist. They've probably seen a lot of shit. It takes a lot to impress them.
May I suggest eating some Mexican street corn and then doing a number 2? Because then it's colorful, it's a little festive. Send that out, and then they'll be knocking on your door.
All right. So we've offended the Native Americans. We've offended Mexican Americans and the Mexicans. We're working our way through the program. We'll get there. Relax. We'll get to you. Just take a number.
My Japanese musician thing sounds kind of tame, doesn't it?
It does.
How about Cambodian people? Am I right?
Oh, they're boat folks.
Oh.
All right.
Offending the world, one joke at a time.
The news is all over the place with lots of stuff, but I curiously missing. You guys familiar with what happened in Arizona yesterday?
Yeah. I almost got an erection.
Several high-level Trump staff have just been indicted in Arizona, including former Trump White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, attorneys Rudy Giuliani, Jenna Ellis, John Eastman, Christina Bobb, and campaign advisor Boris Epstein. And Trump is listed as a unindicted co-conspirator in all this
unindicted
stuff.
co-conspirator number one. Again, that's the second time he's had that title.
How is
now, I think
that's crazy.
I think the reason for that in this case is not because in the other times that's happened is because he was a sitting president. I think in this case they don't want to interfere with the cases that are already going on.
I think it's because they're waiting. I think they're waiting on the Supreme Court decision to find out whether or not they can even go through with, because they're having a hearing today.
They're having a hearing today. Are they going to make it a decision? They're not going to make
no,
a
not
decision.
they're going to make a decision today, but they're probably waiting. I mean, this is just my professional opinion as a podcast attorney.
Don't say that word.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. No, I'm not saying. No, I'm not saying here.
You're a radio show attorney.
No, I'm a podcast attorney on Politipod. On Politipod, they're a podcast.
You might as well say the N word if you're going to say the P word.
Oh, no. Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me, because you know I have no problem saying it.
Don't say. Just put the P word on your list of words not to say until 10:45. No, even at 11:45. Yeah, no, at 11:45 you could say the P word, but not at 10:45.
What about the N word? So, that P word. Okay.
Yeah.
So, as a practicing attorney, because they're having a hearing today on Trump's quote immunity, it'd be like a moot point if they went ahead and indicted him and then it turns out that he has quote been given immunity by the Supreme Court.
All right. But no. Because what they're charging them with is stuff that maybe not the fake electors stuff, because all the fake electors have been charged within that state too. I was thinking it was after he was already out of office that the crimes were committed, but I'm wrong about that. I think.
Yeah, you are.
What we should do is take all these white collar criminals and give them the jobs like that, like community service, where you're cleaning toilets for at least 3 years.
Wow, that's a brutal job.
No, I say death penalty. I say death penalty. Give them all the death penalty, because
that is a big gap between community service and death penalty. I mean, there has to be some kind of.
There is a middle ground. There is a middle ground. You give them the death penalty, if they are contrite enough, and if they can undo the damage, they've done, then they can have their death penalty sentence commuted to something less severe, like community service. But death penalty first. I mean, because if you don't teach them a lesson, they're going to keep on doing it. All right, they're just going to keep on doing it, because that's the problem with fucking lawyers. Okay, they couldn't do this without lawyers. Because somebody has like a really bad idea, and their idea is let's find a way to fuck the Constitution. They'll find a lawyer who'll say, I've got an idea, I know how we could do it. And that's how. No, give them the death penalty, and especially the lawyers. Give them the lawyers should get 2 death penalties, because they should know better. They've studied these things.
You're a
And
cold-hearted
then,
person, GD. I would not want to be a homeless kid coming back to you and
There we go.
standing on your front steps and begging for forgiveness. You're just too cold-hearted. You're just too.
no,
You're
Will, that's wrong. I don't want to kill the upper 1%. I want them threatened within inches of their life so that they stop being the upper 1% and join the rest of us and just be 1%. They're not upper. They're up my ass, creating all kinds of issues for me. They need to stop that.
Now, what's interesting about this story to me is Rudy Giuliani. I don't know how much more he can take.
Yeah, what's happening with this dude? He's like,
now,
he's like a criminal in every state.
Right.
Well, he started off being America's mayor. Now he's America's nightmare.
He went from 9/11 to no way.
Yeah.
Ugh, poor
Well,
guy.
he's a textbook case in getting people to flip. You know, we got Sammy the Bull Gravano to flip on John Gotti. He has not flipped yet, but I'm wondering, there's got to be a breaking point. He's an old man that, threatened with prison. He's got all these debts now that he can't get out of. He's going to go bankrupt, and I don't know if they're ever going to enforce any of these judgments against any of these guys. But it's just a question of where's Rudy's breaking point? Where is Trump knowing about Rudy's little satanic cult with the alpaca and holding that over his head? Like, if you flip on me, I'm gonna spill the beans on you.
Trump is in on the cult.
He is?
Probably.
He's super.
I think you have to be Catholic.
You don't. You don't have to be Catholic. It's a perk.
I mean, and Trump's really good at pretending to be like a Christian anyway. So, yeah.
Christian is not the same as Catholic. Catholic's a whole different thing.
They're adjacent. I understand. I know the difference. I'm just saying.
It's just a subdivision. It's just a subdivision.
Yeah,
it's Jesus adjacent.
Yeah.
It's like being a Christian but with a moderator. I get it. Yeah.
And you get out at the end. Like, you can do whatever you want and just repent at the end. And God's like, yeah, you're good.
Yeah, you do a couple Hail Marys, you can get away with anything you want, man. What up, Willie?
That's right. Go deep, they throw the ball, Hail Mary. That's right. As long as you pass, you're good. If you drop it, you're scum for the rest of the game.
All right. So you guys don't think Rudy's the bottom line? Do you think he's going to flip at all, or is he just going to ride this until get convicted and go to prison?
Didn't. Alan Weisselberg is doing his second stint in prison, and he's in his 70s or 80s. You know, some of these people need to be threatened with the death penalty. I'm serious.
I feel like he'll flip when it's going to serve him best.
See, but to be honest,
right now,
if you were making a good point, Trice patient, you're losing anybody you would try to convince to have some sanity in the world when you go jump to the death penalty stuff. I know.
I'm not jumping to the death penalty. They've earned it. I'm not jumping to it. It's just a plan. They've earned it. I'm saying that the problem is that they think they are so much better than the rest of us and that the regular laws do not apply. So in order for us to get them to start thinking like that, we have to threaten them with something that really matters to them. You know, something that they cannot just skirt around. So yes, give them the death penalty. Let them know that they are vulnerable to our laws, just like the rest of us.
I just like to see one of them get locked up or actually have to pay the judgments that are against
locking
them.
up won't do it. Look, like I said, Weisselberg, he's been locked up twice. Was it Manafort?
That's fine. I'm happy with him being locked up.
I don't know if Manafort did time and he got pardoned afterwards. I think Manafort did do some time and then he was pardoned, right?
Willie says Danny DeVito comes to mind. I played this Thinking City like a harp from hell. What is that from Johnny Dangerously? I don't really know.
I thought that was from the Batman Returns where he was the Penguin, didn't he?
I thought that was from his sex tape, actually.
All right. There you go. So and the other thing goes on today with the Pecker came out and he got deep into the fake news stuff. How the whole time Donald Trump was selling fake news to his people, he was the architect of fake news, and like not that the National Enquirer was ever legitimate news, but it is in people's face every time they go to check out at the supermarket and they see those headlines, and all those headlines they were making up was in response to what happened in the news that was anti-Trump. Attack that guy. So Ted Cruz is doing well. Come out with a headline and a page that says Ted Cruz is having affairs with 5 women. Now, anybody with any sense would know no 5 women would ever want to fuck Ted Cruz. But so there it was. Or Ben Carson left a sponge in a woman's brain. All those stories were completely made up, guided by Michael Cohen.
That sponge was actually in the uterus, but that's where it belonged.
Right.
And she was just thinking with that part of her body. That's why they just think it was a brain.
I like the headlines on those that talk about, like, my wife had an affair with Bigfoot.
Right. But they stopped doing that. It was all anti-Trump enemies and pro-Trump stories on the headlines.
That's way worse.
But it was orchestrated from Trump himself. That's the big thing.
Right.
While he's out there yelling fake news, he's running a fake news organization. And the irony is lost on the people who still follow.
And he was also his own publicist back in the day.
John Barron.
Yeah. The other thing is that, and this is one of the things that people seem to forget, and this was like I don't know if this was Karl Rove who thought of this or if he just borrowed it and just made it better. But what you do is you project whatever your weakness is, you project it onto others. So Trump was saying fake news when he was doing the fake news. That was what he was doing. He projected it onto others. And so when you catch him doing it, he's like, "Oh, you're just saying it because you're doing it. I know who you are, but what am I?" Defense.
I know you are.
Yeah, I know you are, but what am I? Defense. Yeah.
It's kind of ironic that you would come on here in a Redskin look today too. Tries patience.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Like you consulted with the psychic and knew what I was going to say today, and then thought, "Well, I should come on in red face."
It's just that this is just laziness. I was doing an interview earlier for my other show.
You got all your sex toys out behind you and your crack pipe, and you just
I won't mention way past funny by name. But I was doing an interview, and that person is on the other side of the freaking planet, which is why I was up early doing it, so it'd be convenient for them. They're a comedian who's a sailor, so they're on a boat, and but I have to do more footage in like soon as this is over, so I'm not taking this down and then putting it back up.
Let's try to be honest for a second here. Your crack pipe and your sex toys and your butt plugs and all that stuff are out behind you, and you were like Donald Trump Jr. You didn't want to get caught on camera.
They're not behind me. They're right here. They're right beside me. I haven't even taken them out of the box yet. They're right here.
All right, time for a break, ladies and gentlemen. Time for a quick break.
See, they're not behind the screen. I am tired of these false accusations. Okay,
I'm sorry.
I tell you the truth, and you make me look like some kind of idiot by talking about things that you know nothing about, sir. My stuff is right here beside me. It's within arm's reach at all times.
All right.
You never know when you're going to need a big pillowy penis to keep you company.
I think it's time we step in.
An intervention is definitely needed.
He does not have a wife. He's been slowly assembling a wife over these past couple of weeks.
And the penis is the last part.
You think I'm building a wife and what I want is a big penis?
Hey,
a DIY
2024. We're not kink shaming you.
Oh, because it was like, ooh, look at these. Ooh, you. Ooh.
The truth is out there now.
See, now what would happen if, like, God forbid, you were run over by a bus and they come in, some people worry about their browser history. You got to worry about if you were being, post-mortem, they're going to come in and find all this stuff in your house. And then the obit
my wife
that
already
they write
knows about all this stuff. My wife already
But what if she goes with you? What if the wife goes with you, and then it's found in his home? It's like in a whole obituary section. Also found in the home were like a giant size fuzzy cock.
Right next to his blow-up doll with Dolly Parton's face on it. What is happening in this house?
Right.
Well, what they'll also find, if they're doing that deep dive, they'll find a bunch of flyers for a show where it explicitly mentions that I will be using these things as games.
That's somebody else. I have to tell you that those promos are not for you. They are for somebody else, actually. So that
But I'm producing the show for them. I'm producing the show for them.
Doesn't say that anywhere on the flyer.
It doesn't have to. It's implied.
All right. What else did I?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm pissed.
About?
I'm pissed at Steven and Ron. Last night on my program, Adam Snare, who's a comedian out of Florida, we were having a conversation. I was trying really hard, just to talk about comedy and not bring up a certain comedy contest. And then he brought it up.
You mean the one in Indiana that Steven?
No, I mean the one in Austin, Texas that has the name Tony in it.
Injure Anthony. It's called Injure Anthony.
Right. So he brought it up. And then he alerted me to the fact that it's going to be they're taking it on the road, and they're going to be in Madison Square Garden in August. I couldn't learn that from Ron or Steven, who should know these things. These are my think tank.
Well, okay. Listen. First of all, I didn't connect the dots. Two.
At Madison. Which Madison did you think it was? Which Madison Square Garden? Did you think it was like Madison?
Wisconsin.
Okay, Madison Square Garden.
I didn't even. I know what Madison Square Garden is. I know what Madison Square Garden is. I just when I first heard that they were going to Madison Square Garden, because I heard LA Forum, and then they're going to they're doing LA Forum, they're doing one other place, and they're doing Madison Square Garden. So I got mixed up.
Remind me if I ever need a witness to never put you on the stand in my defense.
Well, guess what? That's fine. That's all I have. Right. Listen, I'm not a good witness. It's fine.
Now, let me just say that the Madison Square Garden for a rock concert holds 18.6 thousand people. So for this, which is even a smaller stage than I'm imagining a smaller stage than a rock concert, 19,000 people to go see what is generally almost always in a comedy club. That's an awful lot of people. Now, and again, if they have a bucket full of names, that bucket is going to be like the size of the Empire State Building.
I'd love to still go and try, though.
I wonder how they're going to do that, because generally, or I think what happens is you put your name in the bucket and you go wait in a bar across the street so they can go get you something.
The way they do it, so this isn't the first arena they've done. This is like the third or fourth, or second or third. Well, either way, they've done it before, and yeah, they still had just a regular bucket, and it was still around 200-300 people that signed up. But it is Madison Square Garden. It is New York, so I imagine this time around it'll be a huge influx of comics wanting to get on. So,
probably close to 500. I would guess.
I haven't looked yet. I might do it now because I'd like to visit.
Do you think they will sell out? Like 19,000 people will come? Really?
They sell out every arena they've done so far, usually within 24 hours.
The money, if I'm in the band with them, and for an event like that, and I know they're selling 19,000 tickets. I don't know what the price is, but I'm going to just say $100. That's fair. That's it's a big chunk of change. If I'm playing in that band, I want a $10,000, and I'm not going to get it. But I mean, to be fair, that's an awful lot of money. Is Tony pocketing all of that and just paying everybody what they get paid at the?
I think he's donating money to help the homeless. I think every penny is going to help the homeless in Oregon.
Yeah. You're funny.
TD
I'm gonna hit B on that. You mind if I hit B on that, since sitcom said I'm funny? I can reuse that.
No, I'm sure him and Brian Redband are taking all the money, and
that's what I think is probably happening. I mean, I know this is a joke. Well, I think this is a joke, but I think that's probably the majority of. Not that it's, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that. Listen, you put it together. It's your thing. You deserve at least a larger percentage than the guys in the band. But I think you got to take care. I wonder what people are getting paid for that. It's just,
it would be nice if if you do make it up on stage, if they throw you a little cash for doing that, because you are you are essentially a core part of the show. But then again, it's entertainment, so there's scabs everywhere and someone willing to do it cheaper. So
right.
Well, it sounds
And
like I need to get to LA or New York and try
That's
that.
why we need a union. That's why the comedians need a union, so that we can get fair wages for fair work.
Right. So now, the band though changes every time in Austin, right? They just get it like one guy, the keyboard
No,
player.
it's the same. It's the same band.
It is
every time.
Yep.
They have a Kill Tony band now.
They just tune
I
differently every
thought the
time.
keyboard player was the main guy, and he found like locals.
It's a nope. It's one full band now.
So then they definitely need to get compensated upstairs.
I'm sure they do because it's. They're a full time.
I want in that band then. I mean, as much as I've kind of talked negative about the thing, that's a good gig. I don't know what it pays in Austin, but the Madison Square Garden thing, I'm thinking.
Matt, let's get out there. Like I said, they have a soft spot for crippy people. I'll get up there and I'll plant that seed on the band.
Yeah.
Let me get my golden ticket.
Now, Adam was coming from Orlando to try to be on that thing. Did they tell you how to submit for that? Do you have to do it in advance? Is you get online to put one if they're taking 500 in a bucket, let's say? Did they tell you in advance how you got to do that? And people are going to be sleeping. Is it going to be?
You show up early and put your name in the bucket.
How early? Like this is the question. Like, is it like one of these things where people sleep out in advance for days, or?
No, I think it's like when I went to when they were in DC. You just showed up, like, before the show started. They had a cutoff, and you could just put your name in the bucket that way.
Wow. All right. So you know what? Whatever. He's from Orlando, and he was talking about two people who from there have made it because of Kill Tony. And he brought up Cam Patterson again. I was like, did he make it? I mean, because I did see that little podcast interview where he said he doesn't have more than 3 minutes. To me, 3 minutes, I don't care how you define making it. You're not steadily working if you got 3 minutes, unless you are doing like just a ton of crowd work. But even then,
I could see Cam Patterson maybe getting away. 3 minutes is still not a lot. I feel like you'd have to have at least 10 to 15, and then maybe the rest be crowd work to at least be passable to headline, right? I mean, so you can still get at least 45 minutes to an hour.
I think if you're a comic and that happens, you get a little bump from it, of course, and then
you say bump.
Yeah, then from that point, it's your
bump.
Yep, and from that point, it's up to you to make the most of it. But it's going to be a tough sled because a lot of those guys don't have a full 60 minutes. Actually, none of them probably do. That is a solid 60 minutes.
Yeah, no, I get that, but 3 minutes is
but these guys
extreme example.
But these guys still are touring all over the country and selling shows, and yeah, man.
Yeah, but so Adam, who was on the show last night, he said he's only been in it for 4 years. Actually, I believe it's 5. I think, sometimes time passes fast.
I agree, Willie. I agree.
But he's been in it for 4 years. He's doing his 300th show this week. Paying show. So that doesn't count all the time he did the open mics and stuff. That's a remarkable quick time to build up a career where you've done 300 paying shows in 4 years in the game.
But also, too, the audience that's coming out to those shows are like, the hardcore Kill Tony audience. Are those comics going to go beyond that? That's the real question. But that's also time. Time will tell.
I'm certain that the average Joe on the street who's not a comedy fan, who doesn't live and breathe stand-up comedy, never heard of William Montgomery, Cam Patterson, or any of those people.
Well, I think most normal people don't even know most comics' names unless you're like.
I have friends who never heard of Bill Burr. They never heard of Kevin Hart. GD doesn't even know half these fucking people, and he's in the industry.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
But
So
I'm tangentially, I'm comedy adjacent. I'm not really in the industry. I am industry
you're
adjacent.
all right. Industry adjacent.
But aren't or I mean, if you take a picture of your dick with your cell phone, are you in the industry of porn then?
No, you're industry adjacent.
That's kind of industry
I advise
adjacent.
my client not to answer that on the grounds that it may incriminate him.
I
Oh,
have I have so many dick pics on my phone of my dick. So you're welcome,
And one of
everyone.
mine.
I was gonna say
Don't
I
forget
have a
that
bunch
one.
too, but they're not mine.
Oh my God. Welcome to homophobia with the dog.
I ain't scared of no gays.
Cockophobia.
Honey,
I
come take
love
a look.
me some of them mo's, man.
I got cockophobia.
Best.
Honey, come take a look at this cock. It's magnificent.
Look at the size of the balls on this one.
No, well, the hair company, hair designer TV, when I worked for it, the woman's husband had a chicken farm. He had a chicken farm, and he would always come in carrying a big cock.
Nice cock.
Yeah. It's just like endless cock jokes. I love the color of your cock today.
Hey, we have breaking news.
Breaking wind.
Harvey Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction overturned by New York appeals court.
Holy schmoly bolies. Now, what does that mean? Is he going to get
It
out?
means I can admit he's my friend again.
Yeah. I can finally get my movie off the ground.
Right. Harvey, call me. Let's finish talking about that movie deal. Sorry, I
wait. No, seriously, is he going to just walk now?
No, now it paves the way for a new trial. That's what can happen.
Well, then why was it overturned? You got the skinny on. What went wrong?
Yeah, this is from NBC News. The State Court of Appeals found that the judge in the landmark Me Too trial prejudiced the former film mogul with improper rulings, including a decision to let women testify about allegations that weren't part of the case.
That's wow. Because that happens a lot, where it's not necessarily part of the case, but it shows a pattern of behavior and all that kind of stuff. They do that a lot. If that sets precedent, that's going to fuck up a lot of trials. And
maybe it was the way they did it, or maybe I don't know, because you're right. It's usually they look at it on a case by case basis and say, okay, this does show a pattern of behavior, prior bad acts. That whole
we have more breaking news. Jeffrey Epstein has been declared not dead. So him and Harvey Weinstein will be getting together for lunch today, and that lunch will be hot.
He'll be making an appearance at the Trump trial.
Finally, finally have friends show up to support him.
Yeah. We can't tell what's worse in the courtrroom: the smell of old man farts or this rotting corpse.
Listen, let's stay off the old man smell, okay? Some old people might be a little sensitive to that.
It's not all old people, but this is definitely him.
Now, do you guys have any observances or entertainment news today?
I don't.
Oh no.
Yeah, man, I got today's observances.
All right, we'll get to them in just 1 second. I just want to say, did you guys ever smoke the white weed? Sorry, GD, there is no black weed. Did you ever smoke the white weed?
Are you talking about crack?
No, the white weed.
Cocaine?
No, the white weed.
I don't know what that means.
White weed. I smoked it a couple of weeks ago. I was at a friend's house. I can't even open this. They make these child-proof caps for old people too.
Oh, I
can't get my white weed.
Why can't the weed just come in like Ziploc bags? I don't know.
It's white weed.
Wow.
Those look like crack rocks from here.
Yeah, those look like crack rocks, dude.
They're not crack rocks. It's white weed. Now it's marijuana with THC encrusted, and it's really strong. I was over my friend's house a couple of weeks ago, and he had the white weed, and he said, "This stuff is gonna blow your mind." I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? Weed is so good now that anything. I mean, the worst shit will get me stoned. A couple of hits, I would be like in. But we smoked that. I took like 2 or 3 hits, and I was blown out pretty much the whole day. But I just bought some of the white weed. Smoked a little one last night, and yeah, man, the white weed is really powerful stuff, but it's really expensive. It's like, I don't know, $600 an ounce or something crazy stupid. I just thought
That sounds like
I'm
you're
just
smoking
curious
gold.
if you guys smoke.
You might as well smoke gold. I mean the bars, not Acapulco. I mean
Yeah.
gold bars at $600 an ounce.
I don't think it hits well. You'd never get a really good hit on a gold bar.
And it stains your teeth.
So
Grill,
there's no
sorry.
black weed. There's only white weed. So once again, I'm a white supremacist.
Well,
white is better than green.
If the hood fits, wear it.
All right. It's speaking of hood fits that wear it. It's time now for observances with our resident hood wearer. Well, you got to be in the middle for that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Stephen. Hit us with some observances for today.
Yeah, man. So today's observances are, and some of these. Okay, let's see. National Drug Take Back Day. National Hug a Plumber Day.
What?
Seems shitty.
National Telephone Day. World Malaria Day.
What does that mean? I should go get bitten by a mosquito and die? Is that what you're telling me?
Sounds like it. Anzac Day, which is one of Australia's and New Zealand's most important and revealed national occasions.
Anzac
keep
sounds
it to
like
this
a
planet
drug.
alone.
Anzac sounds like
specific to
an
Earth.
antidepressant drug.
Yeah, okay. East meets West Day.
Thompson Twin song.
Freedom Day in Portugal.
Nice.
In Portugal.
Oh, this one kind of lines up. Gathering of Nations. Powwow.
See that?
It's a national day of Native Americans getting together and blaming white people.
Powering their wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
International Delegates Day.
Why did you do that with your mouth when you went to the International Powwow Day? And then, I mean, for that one, you changed your mouth significantly, and then you went back to normal after it was over. What is it about Native Americans that make your mouth do that?
I get excited, man. I want to pass the peace pipe around.
How you say it wrong? What your mouth do?
Yeah.
What that mouth do, though?
I think Steven's just upset because he's like, they're still on my land.
Bro, for real. Jeez. Yeah. Here's another one. Love Your Thighs Day.
Love your what?
Thighs.
It is Thick Thighs Thursdays.
Thick Thigh Thursday.
I was thinking Popeyes or Bojangles or church.
All right, ladies, send your thick thighs to ron@imacreep.com
and make it sexy.
Actually, you know what? It is National Lingerie Day as well. So.
Oh, that's good. I like that one.
Ron at hewhofist.com.
Yeah.
And
we need a lingerie sponsor, by the way. Let's hook that up. I think Tiffany had also lingerie, but she was just like she was selling her sex coaching stuff, which
we should do that.
The last observance is Al Pacino's birthday.
Oh, I like that. Well, 82. What is he? Does it say?
Great ass.
Dunkachino. I'm looking it up now. Let's see here. Pacino's age.
I'm betting
84.
he's eating chocolate cake today.
84 today.
All right.
He's eating chocolate cake today.
Thank you for the observances portion of the show. Now, we're going to play a quick sponsors piece, and then we're going to hear a little news that we can pull apart and analyze and make fun of. So here's our sponsor for today, Daily High Club. It's a brief one.
Daily High Club helps me stay stoned all the time. I get everything I need to enjoy my weed. I love to get nice sucking on a big hard bong. What are you waiting for? The link is in the description. With over 1 million top-quality smoking products sold, and with a growing base of over 10,000 monthly subscribers worldwide, we deliver the ultimate smoking experience. Did I mention that I like to fuck when I'm stoned? Click me now, baby.
I think you neglected to mention that part of it, but it's interesting. And you're not really my type. Anyway, it's time now for the news with Alan Edwards. Alan, take it away.
Disgraced former Representative George Santos has suspended his long-shot bid to represent New York's 1st Congressional District in a potential comeback attempt.
Santos suggested on Tuesday that this might not be the end of his political aspirations, and his account as a digital content creator on Cameo, selling personalized videos, remains active. I have met with leaders and with constituents, and I have made the decision to hang it up here and stop perusing this race this year, he said in his statement. Liam White reporting.
Swedish customs authorities made one of the country's largest ever cocaine seizures last week when they confiscated around 1.4 tons of the drug at a port near Stockholm, according to an official statement to Swedish television on Tuesday.
If it is as significant as we believe, it is one of the biggest seizures ever made, Stefan Granath of Swedish Customs told broadcaster SVT, adding they were still awaiting a precise figure of the amount discovered. The drug was found in a container at the Nynäshamn port, south of Stockholm on April 18th, Granath said. Benjamin Wright reporting.
A Russian court has dismissed Wall Street Journal reporter Gershkovich's latest appeal regarding his detention at a Moscow prison as he awaits trial on espionage charges that he and the United States claim are fabricated.
Gershkovich, who smiled and gave a thumbs up from within a glass defendant's box in the courtroom, has been held at Moscow's Lefatovo prison for over a year since his arrest during a reporting trip, despite being accredited by Russia's foreign ministry. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi expressed her belief that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu should resign, criticizing his aggressive response in Gaza.
Pelosi voiced her remarks during an interview with Ireland's public broadcaster Radio Telefís Éireann while visiting Ireland. Democrats, including President Biden, have increasingly criticized Netanyahu's leadership as Israel continues its assault on Gaza. Lawrence Keller reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
Alan, you got more. I know you got more, Al. Come on. Turn the page. Attaboy.
Cyber attacks on businesses are increasing, including small businesses. It's a concerning trend because a breach can be very costly and time-consuming if owners don't have a plan to deal with one.
According to the Verizon 2023 Data Breach Investigations Report, the median cost per ransomware attack, which involves a type of malicious software designed to block access to a computer system until a sum of money is paid, more than doubled over the past 2 years to $26,000. Paul Gomez reporting.
Despite a slight decrease in U.S. vehicle sales, General Motors' first quarter net income rose by more than 25% due to strong deliveries of pickup trucks and other higher profit vehicles.
The automaker said that while its average sales price per vehicle was down slightly from last year at just under $50,000, pickup sales remained robust, and it's not experiencing the price erosion across its lineup that other companies have faced. Kyle Norris reporting.
A Douglas DC-4 airplane carrying 2 people was involved in a fiery crash Tuesday in the Alaskan city of Fairbanks just minutes after takeoff, authorities said.
The Federal Aviation Administration stated that a Douglas C-54, which is a model of the Douglas DC-4, was transporting 2 people when it crashed southwest of Fairbanks International Airport at approximately 10 a.m. local time. Jim Kender reporting.
A man suspected of murdering 2 women this week in central Washington state and abducting a 1-year-old child was found Tuesday in Oregon with a self-inflicted gunshot wound after police pursued his vehicle, authorities said.
The suspect was earlier identified as 40-year-old Elias Huizar, a former police officer who fled the scene of a deadly shooting at an elementary school on Monday in the city of West Richland.
And that's the latest news headlines with Al.
Wow.
Now, about that last guy, 2 things about that last guy. First of all, when he left, he had a 1-year-old child. Did they say where the 1-year-old child is? And
they never give us the follow.
When he left, he was 39, and now he's 40. So he had a birthday while he was on a lam.
Yeah, it could happen.
And his girlfriend, his minor girlfriend, was 17 when he killed her. And she had they had like a 9-month-old
No, she was
child.
a minor. She was a minor.
Right. I'm saying she was a 9-month-old child, so she was like 16 when he started stooping.
No, she was a coal miner. She was a miner.
Oh, that. Yeah.
Yeah. It could have had, but this all could have happened like a couple of days before his birthday, and now he's on. I don't know. I don't know. You pick out the weirdest thing to get obsessed on there, but that's you, guys. Patient.
Well, I was going to see. I didn't have that update. I was going to do that in my critical joke theory. I was going to cover that, and that's why I know so much about that. I was going to do a deep dive into the psychology.
All right. Well, that's fair enough. The Santos thing. Santos, I did not know this, was not running against me. He was running in my district. He changed districts to run. He was running against Lee Zeldin, I guess, primarying him. But he was in the 1st district, which is my district. I'm running in the 3rd district, by the way, and they just sent me this thing. I'm still on the ballot. I can't get off the ballot. But so Santos, I guess it's because of the NAMBLA thing but he said he's still going to continue the cameo thing. Like that didn't dissuade him. The fact that, and nobody's addressed this, whether somebody tricked him into saying the NAMBLA thing or he really endorses NAMBLA.
Who hasn't been tricked into endorsing NAMBLA? I mean, really. How many?
Well, if he didn't know what it was, like somebody just sent him money to do a cameo, and I represent this organization. Can you just say we're doing really well, whatever? Because that's the way cameo works. They tell you what to say, and you just say it. And if he didn't know what NAMBLA was, I'm sure there. I bet you if I asked my wife what's NAMBLA, I don't know.
She would say, "Is that a branch of the PTA?"
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just curious. Was he tricked into it, or does he actually support NAMBLA? And he's not addressing that. Nobody's
tricked into it.
The cocaine seizure thing. They said that was one of the biggest.
Twice I was tricked into endorsing the Ku Klux Klan. I did a cameo for the Ku Klux Klan twice. Because I didn't know what KKK stood for. I thought they were talking baseball, and somebody had 3 strikeouts. I was naive.
Dr. K. Yeah, no, that's a legitimate. So you're a big baseball fan. Got it.
Huge baseball. I love the field goals and the puck and the whole thing about the baseball.
The puck,
the scrumming.
I'm trying to get through this as quickly as we can. Just a couple of things to comment on here. The cocaine seizure. What was it? 1.4 million tons or something. Insane amount. They said it was the largest seizure ever. Now, I think the seizure of the guy who's going to snort all that is going to be a bigger seizure. He's going to have a massive seizure.
The seizure, the guy who's in charge of it's like, holy crap, I'm in trouble now.
But how big is that in cocaine? I mean, 1 point, however.
It depends on the density. If it's very dense, it could be just this big. But it has to be very dense. Yeah.
I mean, it would have to be diamond crushed. Yeah.
Diamond cocaine. It's really expensive, really dense. It's about this big, 1.4 million tons. It's like this big.
Tons, 1.4 million tons. It's got to be bigger than its town. I mean, seriously, how big is that? What is
too much?
Now,
the other question is,
Stephen Ortiz.
How big is the hooker's ass that you have to snort it off of?
Oh, come on.
Well, it depends on quality and location.
No, your bus is disqualified. The proper format for an answer is what is.
I said how big is the hooker's ass that you snorted off of?
You didn't say what is.
What is big hooker ass?
It just has to be in the form of a question. It doesn't have to be what is. Because what if it's a where is, or how is, or who is?
Judges.
Yeah, it has to be in the form of a question. GD's right.
I hate that when he's right.
That's twice in one day.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Matt on this one.
You were right before today, somewhere today.
Yeah, I was right earlier also about where the penguin quote came from. It came from that Batman movie.
All right, let me. I know.
I
guess he's patiently waiting, even though we got a few minutes before he's actually supposed to be on the show anyway. But I wanted to bring this up yesterday. Tuesday, I had a show at a facility, nursing home, rehabilitation center. And after the show, a woman came up to me and she goes, "You're friends with Glenn." I was like, "I don't know anybody named Glenn. What the hell are you talking about?" She said, "No, you're on his show." I said, "What?" She said, "Glenn." I was like, "You're talking about G.D. Fenderson?" She said, "Yes, you're on his show. You do very well on there, by the way." I said, "I'm on his show?" She said, "Yeah, my son was friends with him 35 years ago, and basically her son passed. I don't know, he died in a car crash or something, and ended up he was living on Long Island. She was living with him, and that's how she ended up in this nursing home in Long Island. But she's originally from Maryland." And I was like, "But how did you find the show?" See, I know she can't. She hasn't, like, she doesn't hang out with G.D. Fenderson to know about this. Apparently, her roommate in the nursing home watches the show every morning and does it only to antagonize her when she's trying to read. She said she puts on the show so loud when I can't read my stories in the morning, and she does it just to annoy me. I was like, well, here's a big takeaway from this. It's GD's show, and I'm just a guest on it, which it's odd that I do most of the talking, and he just sits there and annoys me. But the other part of it is that the attraction for this show is that, and she puts it on a big screen, by the way, is that all ladies in nursing homes are watching just to annoy their roommates. So I feel like, I don't know what I feel like. I feel
What
like
is the lady's name, and what was her son's name?
I'm not allowed to say. I didn't get the last name. I'm not really allowed to talk about it because of on the air. I'll tell you about it when we have an offline meeting. But there's HIPAA rules. I'm not supposed to even talk about what facility it was or any of that stuff, or give away.
Okay, well, don't talk about them. Tell me about the son.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get his name. I got her first name. I didn't get her last name. I'm sorry about that. I could have done more research. I'll be back there June 6th if she's still alive. I'll ask her. But it was shocking to me. It's like,
Glenn said hi.
Yeah.
I swear, so far it sounds like you're making this up. And the thing is, I know. Part of me says Matt would not make this up because he'd rather die than to say that this is my show and he's just a part of it. He would rather have his scrotum pulled out with tweezers than to say that.
It took me a good 3 minutes to figure out who the hell do I know named Glenn. I don't know anybody named Glenn. I mean, I knew Glenn Schneider back in high school, but no.
When GD texted me and he sent his phone information over, it saved in my phone as Glenn too. And
Glenn
I was
too. There's another fucking one.
I was so confused.
Glenn too. Somebody else is using my number and my name.
Very, very weird. So yeah, we are, and now apparently it's not just her. There's a little coffee clutch of old ladies who get together and listen to this show now. It's kind of popular in this one particular nursing home.
Good morning, ladies.
Southwestern Nassau County.
As Andre the Giant would say in Princess Bride, "Hello, ladies." That's more like a bullring.
If you're still listening, there's a segment coming up that you might be really interested in. It's about resilience. And listen, you old dolls, we love you old dolls, but resilience is really important as you get older.
And Ian, thank you for spelling my name correctly. It is 2 N's. Thank you. Wow. My mother had a slight stutter, so actually it's
as in Beck.
But yeah,
as in Beck, Glenn Beck. Anyway, let's play a quick commercial, and then we'll get to our guest, and I'll tell you what I know about them when we get back here. This is in video. And video's got lots of specials. I'll be putting the links on the webpage for the specials, as far as 50 free minutes with your bonus sign up of this month, and yearly subscriptions to the studio, 30% off, all those kind of special links for discounts. But in video, this is what we use to create the commercials for Daily High Club and all that kind of stuff here.
Hey there, fellow content creators. Are you tired of seeing your YouTube channel growth at a snail's pace? Well, I've got some good news for you. InVideo is here to supercharge your channel growth. With InVideo, you can create eye-catching and engaging videos in a flash. Say goodbye to spending hours editing and perfecting your content. InVideo's user-friendly interface makes it a breeze to create professional-looking videos in no time. But that's not all. InVideo offers a treasure trove of customizable templates, so you can easily tailor your videos to your unique style and brand. Stand out from the crowd and leave a lasting impression on your viewers. And the best part, InVideo is not just a video editing tool, it's a one-stop shop for all your YouTube needs. From creating thumbnails to adding subtitles, InVideo has got you covered every step of the way. So what are you waiting for? Give your YouTube channel the boost it deserves with InVideo. Join the ranks of successful content creators who have used InVideo to skyrocket their channel growth. Trust me, you won't regret it.
I think we should leave that. Trust me, you won't regret it. We got to edit that out, because anytime I hear somebody say "trust me," it's like you're commanding that I trust you. I don't trust that. I don't trust you.
And I did regret it.
Yeah. One thing I forgot to mention about the lady in the facility. I asked her name, and she said Rosemary. Rosemary. I said Rosemary. She said no, Rosemary. Apparently, it's two different names. Rosemary, not Rosemary. But she got really angry with me, so we left on kind of an angry note because I kept saying Rosemary, and she said, "No, Rosemary." I'm like, Rosemary. Like, am my lips not working? No, Rosemary. So if that helps at all, your friend's mother's name was Rosemary. If you know, does that clear it up for you? Did it ring a bell? You know who I'm talking about? No.
Well, I had a common law wife back like 40, 50 years ago. Her name was Rosemary, but her two kids are still alive. And what happened to the HIPAA rule that you weren't supposed to throw out names?
No, I can't say her last name.
Oh.
Or the facility that
she had, Rosemary? That's the last name she had. It's not like she's going to get another one after that.
Oh, no, yeah. No, she changes her name daily. Today it's Donna.
Oh, hi, Donna.
Anyway.
Donna.
So, yeah, we're going to talk about resilience right now. Our guest this morning was on my program last year, or even longer than that, and he had a book about recognizing women and giving women respect and all the stuff but I got a ton of email saying what a good guy I was. So he made me look good. He kind of put the impression out there that I was a kind of evolved and 21st century man of respect and dignity and all this kind of stuff because of his presence here. So I owe him based on that.
That's called the associative property of Simon Bailey.
Right. Simon T. Bailey is he's a world's leading expert on brilliance. Along with his team, he purposely aspired to ignite an innate brilliance DNA. He's got a book out called Resilience is Your Superpower, is a Superpower, and he's here now. Let's welcome back to the program, Simon T. Bailey. Simon, welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me back. Good to see you.
It's my pleasure to have you back. I'm trying to get this right here with this lineup.
Musical squares. It's like Hollywood
anyway, I owe
squares.
you for actually lifting up my reputation in the world by just your appearance. I don't know. I got a ton of letters, all from women, of course. No men actually responded to our conversation, but the women who did. It's so nice to see two enlightened gentlemen. I was like, well, there was one enlightened gentleman and then one idiot. But I'll take it anyway. Resilience. Talk to me about what do you mean by resilience at work?
It's understanding how to be better, not bitter, how to bend, not break, and how to understand that life is like surfing in the ocean. You get knocked off your surfboard, but it's your resilience that allows you to pop back up, and it's your brilliance that allows you to catch the next wave.
So if I may paraphrase,
you're assuming that there are no sharks. You're assuming that there are no sharks that'll take advantage of your stumble, right? No,
there are always sharks in the water.
There are always sharks. If I may paraphrase what you just described there, I think you enjoy the suffering. is the tagline of this program. And it's kind of I've been on this kick for a while now, understanding that life is always, no matter how perfect it looks from the outside, everybody's got struggles, everybody's got things that they are dealing with, and the people who really get things done have a way of just understanding that it's just part of the ride, and you have to take the good with the bad. And I think we've lost that a lot in society, is understanding that no life is perfect, despite what it might look like on social media. And every struggle that you have, it's just part of it. And if you can really learn to enjoy the suffering, life will be a much better place. Is that really does that really come as a legitimate paraphrase of the idea behind this?
Absolutely. You're either in a crisis, on your way out of a crisis, or or saying no more crisis for me. Wherever you are, crisis is just part of the journey, and we have to.
Right. So now the format of the book is it anecdotal? I mean, there's a lot of these kind of books out here, and I'm always had self-improvement books, and I'm always wondering how reading anecdotes might really sink in and embrace those ideas, or is there like exercises? What's the format of the book?
Yeah, so the format of this book is a parable. I pull you into a story of 4 personality archetypes plus one that meet at a surfing camp, and their names are hurry, worry, ready, and steady. All of us know someone that's in a hurry, somebody that's worried, somebody that's ready, and somebody that's steady.
Who's the plus one?
I'm thinking. I think the only one I'm not is steady. I am. I definitely worry. I definitely am too often in a hurry. What was the other one?
Ready and steady.
Ready. I'm ready. I'm just not steady. Is that possible that I could be 3 guys in one? I'm like the holy trinity of guys who need help.
Totally. We all are. We all show up at some different level. And the 5th personality that Glenn with the double N asks is curious.
Yeah. I don't know. He's not really ever serious. He has that scowl on his face often, like he's serious, but he's generally a pretty annoying, just wise guy. Wise ass is what he is. He's a professional
Weisenheimer.
Look, Matt, be careful, because I will throw you off my show in a heartbeat. Okay.
I'm sorry. I have to behave. Thank you for letting me be on your show, sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You are truly you are a true contributor.
Now, what was the serious question or serious question that he asked? Which comes first?
No, I asked who's the 5th, and he was.
Who's the 5th? Oh,
yeah. Who's the plus one? Actually, is what I asked.
So the 4 now, is it a novel? Is it told? It's like a novel, like a story with these 4 characters, or?
Yeah, it's a parable. So at the end of their surfing lesson, they sit by a campfire, and hurry and worry begin to unpack their life. Ready and steady share their life. And curious is outside the circle, kind of observing. And hurry and worry are invited to ask 3 questions. And the first question is, what do you want for you? Because that's the step to moving towards resilience.
Wow. This is interesting. It almost sounds like you've dumbed it down to the masses.
or he's written a sequel to Monty Python's Holy Grail. To get across the bridge of resilience, you must answer these 3 questions.
Yeah, right. You're going to bring up the holy hand grenade now. That's an interesting way of getting this message across. I don't think that I've ever come across a self-help. Is that fair to call this a self-help book or self-improvement book?
You can.
I don't think I've ever experienced one that comes in a format like that, and that's a unique approach to that. How did you come up with that? that just a brainstorm? Was it I wake up in the morning, oh, I got a perfect idea for a way to get this message across?
He says I'm just saying he's a man of faith, so therefore he's familiar with the tool of the parables because the great teacher used the parables many times.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Many. Two more
Yeah.
minis. Many.
It's an ancient approach, and part of the reason why I wrote it this way is people are sick and tired of being told what to do. So you have to invite people to understand their story. So I invite you into a story to discover yourself, and I ask you questions for you to self-select what your data is and for you to find your solution. The last thing you need is another person saying, you should do this, because you're going to shut down. It's kind of like the person that says, trust me, right? So it's understanding when I ask you a question, you are finding your solution.
That's absolutely true. I have a very negative, not only do I have a negative reaction when somebody says, trust me, or immediately the hair on the back of my neck, the two hairs on the back of my neck stand up and they say, why did he say trust me? You were going to trust him anyway. Now that he said trust me, I'm not going to trust me. But when somebody says you should do this, I become very nasty. Like, don't tell me what I should do. You can suggest things when give him. It feels like you're condescending to me when people say you should do this. So yeah, I definitely appreciate that approach. But again, coming back to the parable idea, parables are not necessarily a full-length book. They're like a very short story, not a complete book. So it's an unusual way to do this. But I applaud looking for alternative ways to get the message through. Can we talk about hurry? And because this is one that. Where do these things come from? These ideas that we find ourselves being hurry, that character, and are we born anxious and full of that whole idea that time is short and I gotta get it done, or is that something that we learn through our lives? Do you have any insight into that?
Hurry is dealing with the surround sound of FOMO, fear of missing out. And in a world that's driven by AI, Hurry has forgotten how to practice true AI, which is actual intelligence. So when you slow down to the speed of the moment, you tap into the AI within yourself. So Hurry has to kind of rewire his brain to understand how to show up and slow down to the speed of the moment.
Wow. That's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, a pretty heavy thought to contemplate there. Slowing down, no, but I think it's definitely, listen, haste makes waste is the old saying, and it's definitely true in my case. The more I hurry, the more I screw things up. And sometimes you really have to take a breath, step back, and kind of just slow it down. Not an easy thing to do. Yeah, and I think there are practices and meditations for that kind of stuff. But some of those habits are really hard to break and change and all that kind of stuff.
A lot of people think that with me, just me being in the room screws things up. It doesn't matter how fast or slow I'm doing it. Just screw things up, just in principle.
So was that the rep taking a bump?
No.
Is steady the goal? Is steady, because steady sounds like where we all want to be. Is steady the winner here and the hero of the book? I mean, I don't
Really, all five are the winners because steady and ready just represent something that hurry and worry can aspire to. So steady understands patience, presence, and being calm. It's okay to react. You just don't overreact. And that's steady.
Interesting. Now, who'd you write the book for? Is it for business leaders? Because resilience at work, and I said resilience is a superpower. I don't know why I misstated the title of the book. It's Resilience at Work. I'm showing the cover for the people on the radio side. You're missing a beautiful cover.
It is a really pretty cover.
Is it a workbook? Is it based on a work or is it based on life?
It's based on life. It's for individuals in a world of uncertainty that are saying, how do I still have meaning? How do I matter? How do I add value? And realize that this is not a do-over. This is not a dress rehearsal. How do I maximize my life by thriving and being resilient?
Wow. Now, this is what we were talking about yesterday in motivation. We had a alternative health coach on and mindset, and we were talking about this idea of understanding where do I matter, especially in the work environment. And I proposed the idea that the employer needs to take responsibility. Obviously, we have personal responsibility here too, but the employer needs to take responsibility for, because we have lots of people who just don't know why they get up every morning and go to the job they do. They feel empty, and I think it behooves the employer to kind of make it clear and communicate how you are adding value to the world by being here, how you're adding value to society, what the reason you're actually doing this, rather than just, you're not just coming here for a paycheck to sit in a cubicle 9 to 5. Do you agree that at least in the work paradigm here, that a lot of this responsibility is not met by the employers, not really ever defining why you're here? I mean, and so we find people who are disgruntled and not feeling like they're adding anything when they really never have been explained what they're adding, and feel like why they matter. Do you agree that it should come from the top and define for you in that position?
Yes, in fact, in our latest research that we've done, we asked working Americans, what do they need? And they believe that 81% want to work in an environment that allows them to thrive. And it's the onus is on the organization to celebrate people, not tolerate them.
Right. So people would now money is definitely a thing, but I think people it would be happier to feel like they are important and they matter more than have a couple of dollars raised. I think that's been shown in the studies and all that stuff too. But how do you? Is there a? Because I think I brought this up yesterday. HR people, human resources people, they have a job to do, which is fill a chair, fill a spot in an organization, but they don't necessarily put enough emphasis in, are you the right fit for this company? Is what we do here, does it align with your principles, and will you feel like you're satisfying your own personal goals by being part of this team? Because they have a job to do, is just fill a seat. But in a practical sense, can we expect that kind of vetting, and not just vetting, but making sure we are, it's like a marriage, making sure that we're really a good fit before we commit here? Is that a reasonable expectation for me to have of HR people and people who are just charged with, we need a guy in the mailroom, get me one?
It's a reasonable expectation, but take it a step further. The person that really creates the experience is the manager. People don't leave companies. They leave a manager who's clueless and don't care about them. So it's up to that manager to make sure that that person, once they're hired by HR, that they are told, here's the value, here's the meaning, here's the difference you make every single day.
Okay. Here's a
Hey, Simon. So my job was outsourced. Like my last day was earlier this year at the end of January. And you're absolutely right about when it comes to the management aspect of it, especially since the pandy happened. Like the place I worked was on a steady, it was on a steady slide for a good 5 years, and it has been because of that reason you just said, because it's poor management. Most people don't even, they don't care anymore. And to tell you, what's even funnier, we had a new site director, and she came in like a year and 4 months before I left, and I never met her. She never even came around to introduce herself to anybody. And so at that point, why would anyone care? And my resilience at work is, after they told me that I was outsourced, just my resilience just to do enough so I wouldn't lose my job. That way I could collect a severance at the end. That was my motivation at work.
You know what, Ron? You've just articulated our research that says 55% of working Americans would take a lower paying job to work for a manager or leader that understood them and inspired them. You just
Oh yeah, that's
100%, man.
That's easy to see.
I took that to the heart when I was in management and retail doing cell phones. I always made sure my people were taken care of, and I inspired them and told them and made sure they knew I want you to be able to take my job someday. You know, like I'm not training you to just stay in your spot forever. I want you to take my job so I can take my boss's job, you know? So yeah, that's awesome, dude. Applaud that. That's great.
Let me just express that first of all, I completely agree that it's the manager's responsibility to always communicate with the team about why they're doing what they're doing and how it makes a difference and all that stuff, and make them feel valued and make them feel like you're not. There's a reason for you to come to work anymore. You're not just coming here for a paycheck, and you're not just watching the clock and saying, "Okay, it's 5 o'clock. I'm looking to get out of here." But I think if it doesn't start with HR and we don't find a good mix, the manager is kind of behind the 8 ball to start with. If we're not sure, or it could be behind the 8 ball, if he doesn't have the right people who have not been explaining the missions and goals, not just a mission statement that is all crap, but really understand the goals of the company and what we're here for. If the manager kind of already, if they've just made a hire just based on, oh yeah, you have the skills and qualifications, but not, you don't align with us. It does. A manager can talk until he's blue in the face about, or she's blue in the face. Coming back to your other past book. But you know what I'm saying? They can talk all day about what you're here for and the value you're adding. If you don't align with those values, and from the start, it's an uphill battle for the manager. So we can't put it all on the manager, right? I do think it has to start with the engagement, the first engagement, which is HR usually, but we don't task HR people with that. Their job is just under pressure to fill that spot, as I mentioned. So do you agree with what I just said, or you?
No, I do agree, but it takes an HR person who's enlightened and is really for the person and will tell that person the truth. This might not be the fit for you, and be okay. Right. Because people are sick and tired of settling for a chair, a check, and a cup of coffee in Cubicle Farm, only to wake up and say, this is not my spot.
So circular logic now, coming back to, it's the CEO or the C-level executives' responsibility to make sure the HR person is that enlightened and understands that this is how our culture works, right? Yes. So it's kind of like a full circle.
I used to work for a place that rhymes with Penguin Random House, and during my interview, the HR person was looking at my background, which I have an extensive background in repairing stuff, but I was applying for basic entry-level position, and she looked at me and she goes, "I'm looking at your background, and I think you'd be better suited for maybe maintenance or something. Why would you take an entry-level position?" Wow. And I said, "Well, for one thing, I don't know anything about your company. That's why it's entry level. And two, I don't want to be in maintenance because after 30 years, I'm tired of fixing shit."
Yeah, 100%, dude.
And I did not mean it was an interview, and my wife says, "You say shit in an interview?" I said, "Yeah." She caught me off guard.
I would too.
I went honest. I went honest on her. She caught me off guard.
Wow.
How do you? The question I have, that's an excellent point. Like, your manager is definitely important, and the people running the place is important. But do you feel like people just don't care anymore because of you talk about they would take a few dollars less, but the current state of things, don't you find that a little hard to take, especially when you're working for a company that is just making money hand over fist? I mean, multi-billion-dollar corporations, and it's just soulless because they really don't want to pay you too much more money. And the only thing you hear about is, we got to appease our stockholders. We got to appease our stockholders. and that's it. And I feel that's why people give up and just don't care. I mean, what do you think about that?
People either give up or they stay in place, or they go online to find another gig. And what has happened post-pandemic is individuals realize, wait a minute, I can work remote for a company that actually will challenge me to be better and grow. So nowadays, companies are waking up to the fact that people have options, and people are not just going to settle for a culture where people are squashed and they don't feel like they can grow. And then there are cultures who are absolutely waking up and saying, you know what, we got to take care of our people because it's going to cost us more to recruit and hire and train than to take care of the people we already have.
Well, how do you feel about these companies then when they had remote workers and now they're like trying to pull them back in and make them come back to the office when in fact they're more productive when they are working at home in their underwear, let's say?
Yeah.
How do you know
When
they
they
work
wear
in
them.
their underwear?
Yeah. So the remote work train has left the station, and companies have got to come to the middle and realize we got to create a hybrid situation where there's 2 days in, 3 days from home, because if not, people are going to quit. And actually, the research says because of remote work or that flexibility, people are even more productive because now they can take care of a loved one, pick up a child, they can do other things. So companies, as they think about the future is hybrid.
I love that.
Yeah. I agree with that, and I know because I've worked with some people recently who have asked me to put some recruiting videos together for them, and they're all about hybrid work where people are working part-time on location at the place and the rest of the time from home. The question, like this idea of a manager communicating with people, we do this every day this way, but I don't really know those guys. I know they're these little boxes, but we've never really hung out in person. And I think we're trying to do. Why not? Because we're so far away. You're so far away.
Okay, Simon, just to be honest, there's two of them he does not want to know, and one of them he just doesn't know. I'm not going to say which one. I'm going to let him know. You can tell. You'll be able to tell by the body language. You can tell. You're a smart man.
That's right.
You can tell by the body language.
Thank you for kind of straightening that out, Trice Patience.
Rosemary.
No, but the point I was like, it's hard for a manager to kind of really, I don't know, inspire people. You could do this kind of stuff all day long, but I think being in a room with people and really having those heartfelt conversations about not only do your ideas matter, but when your ideas are not necessarily implemented, it's not that because it was a bad idea, but there are complicated reasons and all that kind of stuff. You can't have those in-depth, really important conversations, I think, online. Oh, you can, but it misses something. It lacks something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This interpersonal communication stuff.
It does.
So it's hard to
The
really.
leader's got to be intentional to get on a plane, go wherever they are, sit down, and just say, "Hey, let's have a beer, let's have a Coke, let's connect."
All right, Stephen, I'm coming to that hospital room tonight. I'll be there.
I'm leaving in 2 hours, man.
Oh yeah.
Need a ride?
I got a ride.
Okay, because I was gonna say I'm there for you. I'm only 3,000 miles away.
Listen, man, I know, but I'm getting out today. I got a day of rest, and then I'm back on the road doing shows on Saturday. So we gotta get out of here.
That's a demonstration of resilience. Anything that comes your way, you are prepared to deal with it, move forward, and I think that's really the whole idea behind this is that getting the skills to deal with setbacks and however you want to characterize them. Anything that comes your way,
But
to not
be honest,
lose
with a
track
face
of
like his, he has to be resilient. Come on, that's not fair. He's had a whole life of learning to be resilient.
It's true.
No,
lots of practice.
Right. So, Simon, is the book sufficient for changing people? or helping people change their mindset to become more resilient. Because there are some people like me, old curmudgeons, set in their way, who are just going to be stubborn. Yeah, I hear good ideas. Rationally, I accept them. Logically, I accept them. But when it comes to the second I hang up the phone and put the book down, back to my old ways. How do we reinforce it once the message is gotten, but now it has to be put into practice?
So the book is an invitation for you to think about change through a new lens. The book won't change you, only you can change you. And if you stick with the change and be consistent with it, then you will have resilience at work. But I would be lying if I say the book is going to change your life. That's like, trust me, right?
Simon, do you think though, with the way you wrote the book, do you think that if the book had more parables and was thicker, that it would actually change people? Because right now you're leaving a lot of work up to people, and people are lazy. People are lazy and they look for the shortest path of least resistance. So if you'd have put a little more effort in that book, a little more parable, a little more words, a little thicker, maybe the book would have changed us.
I love it. I love it. The book is only 85 pages, believe it or not. And that's intentional.
Wow,
that's what I'm saying. Would it have killed you to make it 170? I'm just saying, I'm trying to look out for you. Brother to brother. I'm just trying to look out for you, man. Look, these white people don't understand what I'm talking about. No, let me stop.
Why you got to bring race into everything? Why you got to bring race into everything? Tries patience.
Jeez. Come on, GD. What's going on, man?
I apologize for him.
Lord, I apologize for the pygmies and no.
It's